And now it's time for today's Tech Corner, brought to you by QMark, manufacturers of styli and accessories for the metrology and machine tool industries. QMark products are manufactured in the United States, right down in Southern California, south of us here, and they are an ISO 9001 registered company. And their products are, of course, completely guaranteed. And here's the big thing, they offer same-day shipping of all of their catalog products, as well as many of their custom designs. In fact, their motto is same-day styli. And we're going to look at a few of those products here today. We're going to look at a couple of different calibration spheres and 3 different probe types that are sold by QMark, and how you would calibrate these probes using the calibration sphere. So if we can just switch over to our gauge cam here. Okay, so what we see in front of us here is I've got a couple of calibration spheres, a 25 millimeter calibration sphere, an 8 millimeter calibration sphere, and a couple probes. And the first thing we're going to look at is an off-the-shelf from QMark disc probe here. I'm going to show you how you might calibrate a disc probe using the 25 millimeter calibration sphere. Now, where I'm going to be touching this probe, you can get that information, the actual distances from QMark. Depends on the size of the sphere, the size of the probe, but the process is always the same. You're going to take 12 measurements. You're going to take 12 measurements, 4 at the equator, 4 at a predetermined distance above the equator, and 4 at a predetermined distance below the equator, so 12 total. Then you're going to take that data to qualify or calibrate your disc probe. Now, when you're done with that, you should, kind of common sense dictates and QMark suggests, you should now go out and actually measure a known artifact, so maybe a gauge block. So you might go out and take some measurements on a gauge block and make sure that the data you get back is the data that you expect. This is just kind of a way to verify that your calibration went the way it should have. Next, we're going to look at a 300 micron miniature probe. Again, this is an off-the-shelf probe from QMark. I still have it in this little holder here so that I don't have to get my fat fingers in the way. So it's 300 micron. They make these down to 100 micron. And again, we're going to use a different calibration sphere. We're going to use the 8 millimeter calibration sphere in this case. So I'm just going to swap this one out. Again, what I'm showing you today are all off-the-shelf products from QMark. So we're going to take our 300 micron miniature probe and we'll use our 8 millimeter calibration sphere. We'll go and we'll take our measurements, use that data to calibrate our miniature probe. And finally, what I have here, again, I have this stuck in a piece of styrofoam so I can hold on to it. This is a cylindrical probe. So notice that the ruby tip here, this is a cylinder with a curved end on it. That curved end is not a perfect hemisphere. And that's important to note because when you go to calibrate a cylindrical probe, you got to make sure that you do not approach your calibration sphere at 180 degrees, because if you do, most likely the curved tip of the probe will not contact the curved edge of the calibration sphere. So what you really want to do, you want to come in at about 150 degrees. At 150 degrees, you're going to take your measurement points and again, use that data to calibrate your cylindrical sphere. So again, calibrate your cylindrical probe. So again, what we've looked at today is a 25 millimeter calibration sphere, an 8 millimeter calibration sphere, a cylindrical probe, a 300 micron miniature probe. These are available down to 100 microns, and a cylindrical probe. So what we looked at today were standard probes, but you can also very quickly order custom probes from QMark. They have a great little tool on their website at cmms.com. That's cmms.com, and it's called Design Your Own Probe, and it's very cool. In fact, we have a link to a demo we did of it in the list of links below, so go out there and check it out. Design Your Own Probe is a visual probe design app which runs in your web browser that allows you to very quickly create and order your probe online. So this tool really helps QMark live up to their motto of same-day styli by streamlining the custom probe ordering process. So be sure to check that out at QMark, and that is cmms.com, cmms.com. And also be sure to subscribe to their YouTube channel. QMark has a lot of videos out there that you will find useful. So again, thanks to the folks at QMark for sending us their products to review.